Lou Thesz faithfully defended his world heavyweight championship.
Rogers strut. Kowalski's got him right where he wants him.
Dory Funk Jr. wanting that World Heavyweight Championship.
10 pounds of pure gold.
Simon Felder's Dusty Rhodes has just become the World Heavyweight Wrestling Champion.
Presenting the greatest organization in wrestling history.
We always deliver on our promises at the National Wrestling Alliance.
Yeah, but pretty hard, and look at what are you going to work now? Oh!
Hey everybody, it's Durger time. Thank you for joining me once again for another episode of NWA The Dynasty. We are here for our next pay-per-view, NWA Legacy. We have several people waiting to debut, including Bobby Roode and Juice Robinson, who will probably have debut after the pay-per-view. Of course, we have the finale of this tournament here, where Ricky Starks will go against Black Taurus. That will crown our television tournament television champion through the conclusion of this tournament. So we have a big match there that'll also give us a ton of people to really do some interesting things with now that we have them out of this tournament. That should be really good. All of our belts are on the line. We have a big show ahead of us here. And we also only have one more broadcast deal with Fight, and then we can look at potentially getting a new pay-per-view deal. Quite frankly, it's probably still going to be Fight, but we could certainly take a look and see what will be available for us. In terms of pay-per-view options, it's probably going to be pretty sparse. Nothing on cable, nothing on that on internet pay-per-view. It's just Fight. So we're going to have to get a deal from Fight once again. That's fine. We still have a couple months left on our deal for television, and then we're going to be looking at trying to move to a television deal and hopefully get a little bit more money coming in for that. Right now, we're still running flat. We did knock out that training center, so Nightmare Factory is closed. In terms of roster cost, we certainly have some pricey people. It's really not that bad, though. And I'd argue the people that are costing the most are going to bring us the most value, and everybody else is relatively good, and everybody's on a per show deal, so it's really not too bad. It's really just getting revenue in. That's the issue. So hopefully we can work that out. Hopefully we get some pay-per-view money from this. But with that said, let's go ahead. Let's sim over to NWA Legacy. All right, before we go to our show, just wanted to check in on the news. Looks like some big ones. Obviously, Brock Lesnar staying in the WWE, which isn't shocking at all, but always good to kind of keep a check in on that. Enzo is continuing to upset people, apparently. And weirdly enough, Wardlow joins the WWE. So AEW is actually losing some workers in this save. Something that we might be able to capitalize on if we keep a close eye on who they are bleeding out. Certainly, obviously, WWE also letting people go. Gives us an opportunity to pick up some really well-established wrestlers, but we have to pick our spots good. And I'm not necessarily going on a hiring spree, but if somebody is worth getting, it's always worth trying to make room for it. So with that said, we have a show tonight. Let's go ahead and get to the show itself. And audiobook. That's probably fine. We actually have no backstage incidents, strangely enough. In terms of absent workers, we just have our referee on maternity leave, which is fine. We'll go ahead and medal. Ace Austin's last day is today. Let's build something with Bobby Roode here. I don't know what. Find anything that's extremely high chance of succeeding. extremely high chance of failing. Of course, Bobby Roode has a mercenary personality, so that may not actually help us. Sure, there you go. Did not work, but always good to try to build up some friendships. NWA Legacy is tonight. We'll go ahead and set our broadcaster to fight. And let's see what this location is. We're expecting 638 fans. I'm fine with this. I think getting everybody in is probably going to be beneficial to us. So we'll run it in Tennessee. And yeah, I'm down with that. So with that said, we have I think it might only be a 3-hour event. I don't remember what this is set at. 180 minutes. So 180 minutes we got. We have ability to run long if we need to. Must be between 135 and 225. So, we have some wiggle room on where we can be, but we certainly have a need for all of our alliance belts. So let's go ahead and borrow them now. Because all of these are on the line tonight. And we have a big show. So I'll catch you guys on the flip. And let's go check out NWA Legacy. All right, everybody. I think we have a show. We have 225 minutes. No pre-shows. We have a lot of people on the show, and we're going to be paying a lot of money. Will that make some people mad? It's potentially a problem, but I'm not too concerned about it. We have 84% matches, so fans are fine, and we have no booking issues except for one person who's very unhappy. So, with that said, let's go ahead and let's take a look at NWA Legacy. So we start off pretty well with a promo from Eddie Kingston. He is coming out. He is upset. He says so quite eloquently and says, I'm pissed. I have no challengers. I'm not supposed to be on this card. I don't understand why I'm not. It's all a bunch of bullshit because he is one of the best wrestlers in NWA. No disrespect to anybody. But he says, listen, we got some time on the card. I got my ring gear on. I just taped up my arms. Let's go. Who wants to fight? Let's bring it. And we have new music hits. Someone accepts the challenge. Someone we have not seen in the NWA. This, of course, does very well. 62. I would expect nothing less from Eddie Kingston just on the mic. And we have a debut of Rock Hard Juice Robinson joining us in the NWA. He gets a great rating for his rock hard, flamboyant heel gimmick. Segment does okay. It's not going to be great because I don't think I think it was based on overness or charisma, and it's going to be what it is. And we have a pretty decent match. Eddie has a 71, Juice has a 50. This was I believe a work the crowd match, so it's pretty light. But Eddie Kingston ultimately loses this match despite having great wrestling and good heat. Juice Robinson defeats Eddie. He has a 14 minutes and 54 seconds by pinfall after using a foreign object and pulling the tights of Eddie Kingston. Juice is a scumbag and makes it known early on, and starting a storyline between the two of them. This gets a 53, as we said. Overall, pretty good. Afterwards, we just have sort of an aftermath report here. Juice Robinson had attacked him with a weapon, pulls the tights, cheats to win, does not care. He is cackling, looking like an absolute shitbag. It's everything you would expect from Rock Hard Juice Robinson. Eddie looking furious. He came out to fight. He feels like place in the NWA is being questioned, challenged. He wants more opportunities. He wants to be the top star again. He was looking for a good challenge, a good fair fight, and he didn't receive it. So you know he's upset. You know this isn't ended. Somehow Eddie Kingston's struggling, going off script despite not talking. He was just supposed to be entertainment. Juice Robinson, of course, working really well and was doing great out there. Overall, gets a 55, pretty good. And we start a new feud between Eddie Kingston and Juice Robinson here. We have a big old cluster. Good old battle royal, because that's what you do on a pay-per-view when you have a lot of wrestlers that you need to give time. You give them an opportunity. And an opportunity given, we have a 20-man battle royal. The winner gets the first title shot at the television champion, who will be crowned later today between Ricky Starks and Black Taurus. We got Carlito, Colby Carino, Danhausen, Davey Boy Smith Jr., Dustin Rhodes, Eddie Colon, Homicide, Jacob Fatu, Joe Axel Henning, Lance Archer, Leland Race, Mance Warner, Matt Cardona, Matthias Breeze, Mike Perro, Odinson, Orlando Colon, Ricky Knight Jr., Sean Hernandez, and Warhorse. You can imagine there's a lot of teams in here that were working together. So you have the Colon Dynasty in there. You have Lance Archer and Davey Boy Smith Jr. working together. You have probably Warhorse and was Warhorse in here? Did I say that? Yes, Warhorse is in here. He's just not in the images. You imagine Warhorse and Danhausen working together. So there's a lot of little team ups going on. Ultimately, though, Jacob Fatu wins the Battle Royal. Final four were Matt Cardona, Matthias Breeze, and Lance Archer. Matt Cardona being the final elimination, gets one last woo before getting tossed by Jacob Fatu. Lance Archer getting the most elimination over the course of the match. Some negatives: Matt Cardona, Leland Race, and David Boy Smith Jr. seemed all their game. Even that said, though, got the crowd hotter. 50, not bad for considering just a wild bunch. But this does mean that Jacob Fatu gets to stand tall and gets the first shot at the TV title. So he's either going to be facing Ricky Starks or Black Taurus. Obviously, Jacob Fatu was in the tournament, and he has an opportunity here to be the first challenger despite not completing the tournament successfully. Of course, this little moment here gets pretty good. 56, not too bad. Then we go into this grudge match. Aaron Solo versus Tim Storm Jr. This is a pretty bad match. Decent reaction from the crowd, but has subpar wrestling. It's not very good. Actually, Tim Storm Jr. being the head and shoulders performer here at this point. Tim Storm Jr. defeats Aaron Solo in 15 minutes. He gets a submission. We lose heat for this story, but this story's kind of done, so it's fine. 37, not much to say about it, but Aaron takes a big L here. Afterwards, we have Tim Storm Jr. snapping. He brutalizes Aaron Solo in the post-match beatdown. He's grabbing a chair. He's smashing him as he lays on the ground. QT's ringside during all of this, and he runs up and he tries to top Tim Storm Jr. He grabs him by the chair as he kind of tries to lift it, throw it at Aaron. Instead, Tim Storm Jr. kind of spins around. He almost slams QT, his mentor, with a chair. QT looks shocked, but Tim Storm stops himself, obviously. QT has some words we don't quite hear, but tells him kind of go to the side, and QT leans down to take a look at Aaron Solo. But as he lets his guard down, he's taken aback by a sudden jolt of pain. Tim Storm Jr. had decided to smash him with that chair across the back. QT looks up, writhing in agony as that just got full force slammed into him. And he sees Tim Storm Jr. walking away. feeling betrayed. Did he create monster? Tim Storm Jr. seemingly leaving the factory after having been turned to this vicious streak by QT Marshall. Where will he go? We will have to see. Tim Storm Jr. getting better at his gimmick, and overall, this does okay considering what this is. But this pretty much ends the factory's component for Tim Storm Jr.'s journey as he continues down the path of the dark side, having turned to viciousness by QT Marshall. Where will he go? We have our loser leaves town match for the ownership of the Smoking Aces. Zicky Dice versus Ace Austin. It's a decent match. Zicky had a 42. Ace Austin had a 60. Got the crowd hotter. Ultimately, Zicky defeats Ace Austin in pinfall. During the match, we also had Matthias Breeze, who had a struggling moment deciding who to help, ultimately turning on Ace Austin, who has not treated the Smoking Aces very well. And he ends up helping to seal the deal. Zicky wins. A big win for Zicky here. Ace Austin very upset by the outcome of this match, but he only has one more day on his contract, so I don't think it'll matter. This gets a 55 overall. Pretty good. Afterwards, we have a united moment here where Ace Austin is looking at the Smoking Aces crew, trying to convince them to join him. Instead, they all turn to look at Zicky Dice, who kind of gives them a nod. And Matthias Breeze and Jericho 120 turn on Ace Austin, attacking him and laying him out. Zicky kind of gives them both a pat on the back as all three of the members of the Smoking Aces walk away, leaving Ace Austin alone, eating shit, crying in the ring. We have a new leader of the Smoking Aces for however long that lasts, and Ace Austin leaves the NWA on his back, no longer allowed to be in the company. We end this storyline, obviously. This gets a 40, it's okay. Jericho 120 looking stale out there and needing a rebranding of his character. We got this grudge match, which is Mayhem here. No Laughing Matters with Colt Cabana and Aaron Stevens. Aaron obviously upset by Colt not taking things too seriously. Well, Colt takes this match pretty seriously. It's a chaotic mayhem match. Weapons are used, and ultimately Colt Cabana is able to defeat Aaron in 15 minutes after a pinfall. This does pretty good. It's a 50. Colt has a 46. Aaron has a 51. It got the crowd buzzing. Overall, really good match. Aaron getting proved that Colt Cabana can be serious when he needs to be. And you have to kind of question where Aaron goes from here at this point. We have a match designed to cool down the crowd a little bit as they were kind of buzzing, getting a little overheated. It's a trios match between Kylie Ray, Mickie James, and Ramona Riot versus Kimberly, Kota Kai, and Thunder Rosa. Thunder Rosa doing very well in this match with a 62. Everybody else, though, honestly, quite frankly, doing really well as well. No losers in this match. They are all really keeping up with each other. Thunder Rosa is about 10 points higher than everybody else, but I mean, everybody else is holding their own. Match itself gets a 49, which is okay. It's not great, but overall, it's fine. In this match, we have Kimberly, Kota Kai, and Thunder Rosa defeating sort of our ragtag good guy group. It's an elimination tag match, so as they kind of are bleeding through, it's going, Kimberly eliminated first, then Mickie James, then Kylie Ray, then Thunder Rosa, and finally Kota Kai beating Ramona Riot. But Thunder obviously being kind of heads and shoulders above everybody else. This, of course, leads to a beatdown. Kota Kai attacks Ramona Riot after the match. You know, the others are kind of at ringside being pulled to the side, and Delilah Dooms, who is kind of Ramona's friend, all of a sudden, they've kind of teamed up for a while, has decided to come out. She's obviously injured, so she wasn't able to have a match tonight, but she comes out to try to assist Ramona Riot, but Kimberly spots her, who has had kind of have a little bit of a spout between the two of them, decides to course correct and attack Delilah Doom, beating her up, and both Ramona Riot and Delilah Doom kind of on the ground attacked, kind of spurring off two different storylines here, one between Kimberly and Delilah Doom, and one between Ramona Riot and Dakota Kai, as the two of them kind of team up to beat these two up. This gets a 45. There's not much to say about it, but it's okay. We have our tag team championship match between the Von Erichs versus the New Horsemen, and we have new champions as the New Horsemen defeat the Von Erichs in 15 minutes. Pillman Jr. gets the win here, pinning Ross Von Erich with a spike pile driver and winning the World Tag Team titles. Overall, everybody's about even here, two evenly squared away competitors. I thought that giving the tag titles to the Horsemen here made the most sense. We were making them dominant. The Von Erichs were doing okay, but are kind of stale as champions. I think there's more opportunities that we can have with them in the future without the titles. And I thought building Brock up here with a successful tag belt win, it would be important. So we decided to put it on the Horsemen. I think it's the right decision. So I'm happy with that. And overall, a pretty good match. I mean, match got the crowd hotter after having cooled them down. They liked it. 50s, not much to say about it, other than that's about, what we want. The Von Erichs are a better performing group, though, with a 44 and a 55. So the Pillman is going to be carrying Brock Anderson as we kind of develop him through this championship going forward. Afterwards, we just have a moment where Arn Anderson, Brock, and Pillman celebrate their championship win. We have the women's title match between Jamie Hayter and Allison Kay. Allison Kay has obviously been doing this sort of beat the clock thing, and Hayter has surprised her, but is not able to do it. Allison Kay continues to be dominant in the NWA for the women's division, ending the prospects of Jamie Hayter in 14 minutes after a submission. Jamie Hayter looks good in this match, is doing all the right things. Allison Kay just had her number and was able to submit her. So we have defense number 2 for Allison Kay, who continues her streak as women's champion. Jamie Hayter coming close, but not quite enough. This, of course, got the crowd hotter. Two of them about even in performance and getting a 55. Backstage, the interviewers try to catch up with Aaron. He's in a different locker room than he normally is. Obviously, he had to leave the locker room that Colt and Danhausen and Warhorse were part of, because he basically got kicked out of it. He's all alone. This is a dusty, old part of this building. This locker room has not been used in years, probably by people that don't even work in the NWA anymore. He's looking distraught. There's an interviewer there trying to catch an interview, and he just pushes him away. He's like, I don't want to talk. Go away. Interviewer leaves, but the cameraman is kind of watching him through the window in the door, trying to see kind of what he's up to. It lingers. He's angry. He's angry at himself. He kind of throws his towel on the ground, and then he goes up and he just kind of punches a wall. And when he does this, he doesn't go through it or anything. It's almost like a metal sound, like a dunk, and then it clicks. Something has been dislodged. Perhaps there was some kind of like button he pressed, or his pressure sensitive, but his movement kind of dislodged something below. It's almost like a secret compartment, an old compartment, maybe an old locker that was painted over for some reason. And he can see this crack down on the ground, and he squats down and kind of gets his fingers in and pulls open this compartment. As he does, there's just dust coming out, and he grabs something inside it. It's an old book, big old book, covered in dust. He dusts it off. He opens it up, confused. He reads it. As he's reading, he's intrigued. There's something in it that's speaking to him. The camera tries to get a look at it, zooming in. The words are very faded on the cover, but eventually we get a decent look. It's old, kind of hand-stamped leather, and it says, "The Book of Josephus." And we move on to Ricky Starks versus Black Taurus, our end of the long round robin television tournament. Crown the champion. Ricky versus a monster. This is actually, unfortunately, this match doesn't do as well as I thought it would. I think we burnt out the crowd a little bit, despite trying to cool them down. Is unfortunate. Had great wrestling, had good heat. Ricky Starks defeats Black Taurus in 15 minutes. It's a difficult fight, and he gets him in a fast roll-up. So we protect Black Taurus, but Ricky's just smarter than the monster. He's not able to muscle him out. He's able to outthink him, and he gets him in a moment where he can kind of just capitalize on a distraction. And that distraction came from Nick Aldis, who showed up in support of Ricky Starks, is able to kind of distract Taurus a little bit, able to counter some shenanigans that Ali Catch was doing ringside, and allowing Ricky Starks to win the World Television title. Overall, obviously, got the crowd buzzing. Taurus looking fantastic with a 63. Starks looking pretty good with a 52. Curious by why it's so low. But, you know, we had a very hot crowd. Odd face heel combination, maybe? I don't think Ricky's a heel. We might have to take a look, because Ricky should not be a heel. But Ricky's definitely a face. Maybe we have him set wrong. But either way, still a good match, good win. And obviously Ricky Starks is a hell of a challenger coming forward, where he now has to face Jacob Fatu in a upcoming match now that he's television champion. Of course, at the end, he's holding it up, celebrating, holding that title up high as he endured a hell of a tournament to get here. And we got Cody Rhodes versus Remy Zayn. And again, the match didn't do nearly as well as I would want. I think we burnt the crowd out a bit. Gets a 69, almost a 70, which is very good. Cody has a 80. Remy has a 73. It's an exceptional match, but Cody is able to retain after 30 minutes with a crossroads following interference from a mysterious masked man who showed up ringside, which we'll talk more about. This makes defense number 3 as we go deeper into the Codyverse. Remember, this is Cody's story, and we all just live in it. And he makes Remy know that today. Obviously, Cody had made a call to somebody that he was familiar with and was able to get somebody to come in. And clearly, this person was able to intercept Remy and stop a potential victory, which we'll go into a little bit later here. And we'll go into that, in fact. As what happened? Well, as the match wound down, it looks like Remy has Cody on the ropes. Zayn slings Cody into the corner, give him a haluva kick. He's charging. Cody sees the opportunity, panics, and pulls the ref in, who was near him, to take the brunt of the impact of the heel kick. The ref is down. Cody immediately goes for a crossroads, but Zayn is just pumped up, and he reverses it into a blue thunder bomb. Cody is out. What Remy doesn't see at this point, as he's trying to kind of do that motion with his hands as he's trying to get Cody to stand up again, is going to give him either another Blue Thunder Bomb or another Haluva kick. What he does not see is that there's a mysterious masked man behind him. Bulky, he's bearded, and he's wearing a replica of an El Generico mask. And he's holding the Timekeeper's bell, which he stole. He quickly uses that bell to smash Remy in the face and knocking him the hell right out. Cody crawls to Remy to cover him, and the ref conveniently regains consciousness to count a slow 1, 2, 3. A shame for Remy here, as a interference has cost him this match. Afterwards, Cody slinks away. He's injured champion. He has not felt the heat like this, and he is not his normal celebratory self. He looks a little desperate. He looks like his number was up and he knew it. And he does hold his title up, but is not a very in-character, flamboyant style. It's not that Cody that is excited. That is a Cody that he's like exhausted, at his limit. He walks away. Remy, though, obviously looking completely distraught, confused. But that confusion does not get to linger. He is quickly attacked again by this mystery figure. The two brawl, leading them to the outside of the ring. Remy's just too weak to handle this, though. And every move Remy gives him is just quickly countered. Whoever this is knows him very well. And we see that as Remy tries to get a quick Haluva kick in, but instead his leg is captured and the figure pops him up into the air and drops him onto a powerbomb onto the apron, right on the small of his back. Zayn writhes in agony from the attack, but also his face tells the story clearly. There's a mix of emotions and anger and betrayal. He knows that move. He knows this man. And the figure removes Generica mask. We all knew who it was. Kevin Steen, welcome to the NWA. And we end the show with two former friends and former rivals staring at each other in another company once again. This dance will not end until one is dead. And that is how we end NWA Legacy. Overall, a pretty good show. 58. He only increased popularity in one region. It was not enough. I think we kind of hurt ourselves with maybe some balance issues. But that is fine. I think it was overall a really good show. Let's go ahead and make some speeches. We will let's give Zicky Dice some props. Nobody has we don't have anything bad to say about anybody. So we will just go ahead and compliment everybody. We'll give Remy also praise. Should give them a bit of a boost. All right. Good show. I'm happy with that. Very interesting news going on here, though. We got a bunch of retirements, including Jeff Jarrett. Oddly enough, also Natty is retiring. So quite a lot going on in the world as we continue this. Nyla Rose retiring. Some big shakeups going on here, which is kind of crazy. A lot of people. Amazing Maria's retiring. Wow. Sam Shaw signing back up WWE. I guess he wasn't there in the save. Interesting stuff. Let's go ahead and take a look at our news. We don't have anything other than Ace Austin should be leaving us, I think, in a day or two. Did we not get a broadcast? I swear we put that on for a broadcast. Did we not run that as a pay-per-view? No pay-per-view. That's so weird. I swear we clicked it.
Are you sure about that?
I guess it was not on. I was wondering why we only got boosted in one area. That is such an annoyance. I swear we clicked it. Whatever. We'll deal with it. It is what it is. 600 people watched that show. That's all. Christ. Okay. Well, you guys got to see it, and I think it was a very good show. I think also some very big results with our tournament concluded, with new champions, with our first television champion, with, of course, in our alliance, our first titles. And this is an interesting one because I think with our tag team titles, there's a possibility that they may get borrowed and moved out from others. We will have to see. That's so frustrating because I swear we clicked it. Oh well. Anyways, thank you guys for joining me, and I'll see you next time for another episode of NWA Dynasty.